Hi there, welcome back to Supercharged Fridays, 191 weeks of Supercharged Fridays. How are you doing? I hope I'm live and I hope I'm not on mute. And I hope everything is working as it should. How has your week been? Drop in the comments. I know there's always a delay. And let's chat. Let's chat about what's on your mind. How can I help? I'm here to serve. So I'll start while I wait for you to join in. I had a very interesting week. You probably, if you're kind of regular here, you saw that last week I wasn't at my sort of usual spot. I was traveling and it was a fantastic retreat, a leadership retreat by invitation only. It was a huge honor to be invited. They tend to be quite private, so I'm not going to be talking about it too much. Maybe later, who knows? And from the content perspective, that the content I make, this was a fantastic week. I released an episode with a person who is an advocate for anti colorism, um, which means that the world we live in today, whether we agree or not, whether we like it or not, does tend to favor people who are lighter skinned. And we talked about where does this come from? And she shared her experiences. It was a very emotional conversation because, she comes from my part of the world. And um, India, like many, many countries in Asia and Southeast Asia, has a bias and has a clear preference for lighter skin. We talked about how it impacts career. We talked about her career. It was a fantastic conversation. And it's very rare that I do this, but I also went live with her on Instagram because I thought one conversation isn't enough. So if you do follow me, check out my Instagram. And her name is Shweta Agarwal, and we talked about this. It was really brilliant. The comments I saw were very, like it added to the discussion. And I hope you're doing well. Let's talk about what's on your mind. And I also have a favor to ask you if you're watching me live. Let me know if everything is all right. Thank you for tuning in. You're amazing. Good morning in New York. Good evening in India. Rosa, you're very welcome. I don't know, Rosa, if you're from any part of Latin America. I will say de nada. I will go with the assumption that you are. You're very welcome. Thank you for tuning in. So, before I get into the questions, I definitely want to get into the questions. I want to ask you something. So, what I have been doing for the past 2 to 3 weeks is I've been putting my head down. And in fact, even today, I was so deep in work that I almost forgot that it's time. That tells you when you don't want to be like distracted and you're completely focused. What is it that you are, if you are, I mean, I'm going with this assumption, what is it that you're currently struggling with? What is that thorn on your backside that if that were to be removed, your life would get easier? The fact that we join week after week, I'd like to think it's because you like my company, but I'm sure it's more than that. So I'm creating some low cost digital products to help you out. I've talked about democratizing access to high value career advice, and I mean it. So, my one on one coaching tends to be pricier, but I want that the products I make help you in one day or less. But I don't want to just make something that I think you want. I also would love to know what is that thorn like? Please could you put this in the comments? Please, please, please. This is a request. What is it that you're currently struggling with that would, like a magic fairy would come and sprinkle some pixie dust, and that part of your career would be amazing? What does that look like? Please tell me. The more comments, the more enriching, the better it would be. And if you don't mind, I'd love obviously to see that comment. And if you wouldn't mind, I'd love to follow up with you on it if I have further questions. So if we're not connected on LinkedIn, I might send you a message. Let me know if that's okay. And if you don't want to tell me this in like publicly in the comments, then definitely tell me privately as well. And the other thing I wanted to say is, what else did we do this week? Yeah, we had a members only live stream. So if you're watching me on YouTube, I have a YouTube subscription, extremely inexpensive, €4.99, €4.99 for a month, and €9.99 for the pro membership. So the pro membership gives you access to a members only live stream. It was so intimate with a couple of people, and we talked about their career, but it's so much nicer because it's nobody else really listening. And the next one will happen on 12th of October. So at this price, it's almost like one-on-one coaching. It was really good. I walked away really happy. Yeah, so there's a couple of things that I've been sort of hanging out with. So let's see how you guys are doing in terms of your comments. Perfect. Oh, goodness. Rosa, you're from Sydney. I'm so sorry. I kind of assumed with your name. So this must be pretty late for you, right? I think you're 10 hours ahead of me. So that would make it uh, 2 p.m., 2 a.m. So it must be midnight for you, I guess. I guess. Have a good evening. You're in Indonesia. All right. Fantastic. Good morning in Texas. I hope you guys are doing well. So I'm going to get right into your questions. Fridays are my favorite day as well. So let me know about what I just asked, that favor that I just asked. I'd really, really like to dig in there and get into the help you need. All right, I saw a question from, I think the first question was from Sumit Singh. So let's chat. Hi Sumit, how are you doing? Cheers. Quick sip, okay, before my tea gets cold. That would be, is there anything worse than cold tea? Like, ugh. It was almost cold, but it's still okay. You can still drink it. What's the red flag from the employer for the probation period? Within 6 months, is it okay to leave the company after 5 months of work for a new job? Sumit, I think of the probation period, right? Another word for the probation period is a trial period. We always go with the assumption that it's the employer who's trying the employee out. Like, is it like you take a car for a spin, like a test drive? It's like that. Please, 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 please remember it is also a trial period for you. Do you like the atmosphere? Do you like the colleagues? Do you feel like waking up on Monday after the weekend and going to work? Because it has an impact for you, right? And if you look at the terms on your contract, both of you have flexibility to leave each other. Now, you might argue and say, yeah, that's easy for you to say. Employers can test, and if it doesn't work, they can let you go. And if an employee does that, it makes you look bad. Well, what is worse? What is worse? Staying in a company because you don't want to look like you left and then be miserable, or realizing, oh, shucks, where have I come, and correct it immediately? I would go with this and I wouldn't care so much about what people think. It's not about is it okay, what I think is it okay or not after 5 months, Sumit. If you're not happy, do something about it. Do something about it. Life's too short. Okay? Hi, Monica. I have a 2 or 3 year gap. Monica, I'm so glad you're asking me this. My sweetheart. I have a detailed video on this on my YouTube channel. If you haven't watched it, you are in so much luck. Because in that video, I get into scripts. I talk about what exactly to say. I leave nothing out. I literally share some of my best content for free so that you can do something with it and it impacts you. Watch it, okay? If you don't find it, because I have so many videos on YouTube, send me a message. But I think you will find it. Go and look at some of my oldest videos from 2019. And it's about a 17-minute video. So I really dig in. I really get into detail. And after that video, if you still have questions, let me know next Friday. But I don't think you will, because it is so thorough. It's almost like a masterclass on only employment gap and how to talk about it in your resume and how to talk about it in interviews. So just in the interest of time, I'm making sure that I don't get into too much detail. I've done so much on this. I've even done a live stream on this, or I've done a couple of live streams only on this topic. So I wish you lots of luck. Hi, Salman. Thank you for tuning in. All right. All right, Shubham, what's up? My colleague was laid off last week. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Shubham. It's not easy. They gave a reason that he lacked follow-up. It doesn't sound like a layoff, Shubham. It sounds like maybe he was fired. Something, about performance, which is not a nice feeling. But I feel the real reason is he was really upfront and straightforward in his conversations. Yeah, it's possible. It's possible. Some, people were rubbed the wrong way because they are never rubbed in any way. I'm, I'm laughing about it. I don't mean to be laughing about it. Let me know if you have any question. I know a thing or two about this pretty well. So what's happening, Prashant? I'm sorry, Puneet. Prashant is this dude. How are you doing, Prashant? All right. I'm currently working in credit. A year's already gone and I'm underpaid. I want to shift to a different role. Is it okay to shift in a different role? Of course it is. If you really feel like you're underpaid compared to the market, or that you are underpaid compared to other people that you have access to, because chances are, people in accounting and payroll, they do get to know, right? And they, nothing wrong with using that to their advantage. And I don't mean sharing it with other people, but saying, what is going on here? Like something doesn't feel right. So why would it not be okay if you you know let's just destroy this belief system that we work because we feel good. And no, let's just be clear that we work because we have to earn money. There's nothing dirty and wrong about it. I will never ever have to justify this. I mean, I work, I have private clients, and I have digital courses, and I am motivated by money. What is wrong with this? What is wrong with this? I like living in a nice house. I like my kids going to good schools. I like us having a good lifestyle, going on a holiday once in a while. Why do we have to feel ashamed? I'm not saying you are, but we have this culture where we tend to think we don't want to talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about money. It's become such a dirty word. And the concept of earning money, I do this, I volunteer my time, that's all I do. No, I don't believe people who say that. Like they're sitting on some trust fund somewhere, or they genuinely are living like hand to mouth. I don't know about you. I don't want to live hand to mouth, and neither do my clients. My clients want to work with me because they see, like, okay, I invest this much and I'm going to get 4x, 5x return. Why the heck not? Invest in yourself. And if you feel like your company is not taking care of you, it's yours. It's on you to do something about it. Okay. Thank you for coming to my TED talk and for my rant. Fab. Hey Sumit, I'm facing a tricky situation. On my current salary in the interview and face to face, can we ask for more than 40% hike with less than a year's experience? You just have to talk about, Sumit, it's not about what percentage. I've talked about this a few times. It's not about what percentage you ask, because you're going with the fact that you think that your base salary is the benchmark, which it is not. I would say give very clear rationale why you deserve to be at a certain level. Just give reasons that make sense to them. They have to make sense to them. If they don't make sense to you and you're not exactly convinced and you're asking a complete stranger on the internet, then go back and revise it before you make the ask to the employer. You have to say, these are the reasons, this is the value I bring, and you bring me in, it's a plug and play. You don't have to train me because I will do this, this, and this. And here's the proof because I've already done it in the past organizations. The techniques are all there on my YouTube videos, so definitely take advantage. But I love that you're asking this and you're thinking about this. It's only tricky if you think it's tricky. Go and prepare for this, just like you prepare for anything important. Practice. Invest the time in it. If you need to work with a coach because you feel like you have some tells and you get very nervous, work with someone. It is worth it. I wish you lots of success. Thanks for popping in, Risto. Amazing. I hope you're having some sunshine. We got lovely sunshine here. Good morning, Gigi. How are you doing, my lovely? Hi, Salman. Assalamu alaikum. I'm looking for a job in the Middle East. Not getting interview calls, applying through LinkedIn is not giving productive results. I understand, Salman. It's very frustrating when this happens. Could be a couple of reasons, Salman. At first glance, what I can tell you is that either you are not showcasing on your resume what makes you interesting and what makes you different. I'm guessing you are somewhere. Are you in the Middle East already? Or are you, for example, are you in India or in a different location? Because if they have to relocate you, there has to be something in your resume that makes them want to do that. So either for some reason they are not able to see that, or number two, you are not looking in the right places. You're not targeting the right companies. So it could be one of these two. Obviously, there could be other factors, but at first glance, this is what I think could be happening. So go back and let me know if you have further questions, but go back and see in your materials and in your job search strategy on how that's going along. That's what I thought. It's a 10 hour. It's 10. Ah, it's not midnight. 2 o'clock to 10 o'clock. My maths is so like I'm so brain dead by Friday. 2 o'clock to 10 o'clock is 8 hours. Yes. 8 hour time difference. Okay, okay. I think it becomes longer when we get into winter and you guys get into summer. What's happening, Ayush? What's happening, Bharti? I have a maternity gap. Mm-hmm. Okay. Feeling stuck. Okay. So, Bharti, do you remember when if you didn't join me earlier, just watch the replay. I had another person talk about gaps in their career and I referred to a video on YouTube. So go back and check that out. There's lots and lots of ways to talk about your gap. And there's another playlist on my YouTube channel, which is about how to get a good job fast. And there's so many techniques I share there. So good luck. I'm so excited for you to get back into the workforce. Your children or your child is a bit more grown up, a little bit less dependent on you, and time to reclaim your identity. There's nothing wrong with being a mom full time. That's not what I'm saying. But for some of us, we want more. So happy for you. Happy for you. Congratulations. Oh, kiddo. Life's too short. Exactly. Let them work remotely and get salaries with their. Mm-hmm. Okay, what's the question? What is your opinion on the new trend for companies to make a hub and hire people and let them work remotely and get their salaries with their local currencies and not let them travel to work on site? So you're basically saying 100% remote jobs. There's nothing wrong with that. What do you think about it, Mega? Um, Not Mega, Mario. I think that's amazing for people who want that flexibility. And I think it's horrible for people who want to be in the office because they need that energy in the office. So there's no right or wrong. It's great for people who want 100% flexibility all the time. There's a certain stage in your life where you want that. There could be a different stage in your life where you don't have responsibility, you don't have kids, and you want to go to the office. Then don't do this. Do something else. I don't know. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna say. Hi Ayush, is it okay to tell the recruiter that I'll be laid off? That you have been laid off or you will be laid off? I don't think you need to share this. I think it's too much information. They might try to lowball you. Yeah, not all recruiters are good. Some are, some aren't. But even if they are good recruiters, I don't know why you would. What would you? What do you intend to achieve by sharing this information? I'm glad you're having second thoughts because I don't necessarily think it's that important. Hi Jay, thank you for being here. Your question is teamwork is imperative. I feel that management has changed. Teamwork only consists of managers and not all employees. Do you have any reasoning behind this management style? No. I think teamwork makes the dream work, and team means team, up to down. Of course, in certain decision making, the hierarchy does matter because there's people who are selected because of a certain skill set, both technical and non technical, and they are leading the rest of the company. So, yeah, those are the steering committee, right? They steer the ship forward. But what would they do without those folks who are actually putting in the daily work without whom there would be no company? I would say that everybody matters. Every single person matters for sure. Teamwork only consists of managers. Yeah. Yeah, I don't like that. Hey, Dan. Thank you. Thank you for being here. It was amazing. Thank you for asking. I talked about it at the start. If you guys don't follow Dan, Dan is a very, very nice guy. He lives in California and he started was it Facebook or was it LinkedIn group on job searching. And he used to get like, I think he had like 11,000 people in his group. And it was so good, but it was a crazy amount of work. And he was doing it full time while being a recruiter at Amazon. Dan was unfortunately laid off a couple of months ago. He's actively looking as well. And he's documenting his journey on LinkedIn, which I think is amazing. Dan, I kind of briefly saw you because I was traveling. I saw you briefly that you were live and you'd shaved off your head in support of someone, very, very small person, very small child who has just been diagnosed with cancer. So hats off to you. And lots and lots of wishes that the person becomes completely clear of cancer. Your videos and scripts available on YouTube? I don't think so, Akash. The way I've written them, because I've worked in different industries and I'm coming from a universal point of view. So obviously, you adapt them to where you live, your culture, your style, how do you talk. You have to adapt them. You don't go word for word and copy scripts and say, hey, this worked, hey, this doesn't work. Add essentially what's your own, reject what doesn't make sense to you. But overall, I would say they do work. I have lots and lots of success stories from there. So, yes. How's it going, Joe? Good morning. How do you feel about working with a big company? It's good. I think it lends a bit of a big name does lend, credibility, recognition. You don't have to explain. I work at Pepsi. Pepsi is a company that, compared to like a very niche B2B space, but there's pluses and minuses of working in a big company. All right, Shubham, let me come back to you. I'm going to put your message on, I'm just going to like mark it so that I don't forget, but I want to address a couple of others who have been waiting a little bit longer. And since you asked me something already, I'm just going to move on a bit. But I do promise I'll be back. Do you guys have the time? Because I never see the time when I'm live because my phone is my clock. And do you know if it's, how long has it been? Has it been 20 minutes already? I don't want to be more than 30 minutes because I don't want to like get back to things, but I obviously want to ensure I answer everything. I'm in a company for 15 years. Switching is difficult as people tell you they have not seen the world. You have not seen. Okay. I don't care what people say, Niladri. If you're happy there and you're growing and you're doing lots of different things that you'd never have a boring time, who cares? I personally have a partner. The person I'm married to has been in the company longer than he's been married to me. I got married in 2004. So I'm going to be celebrating my 19th wedding anniversary. And he's been there longer than that. Never a dull moment. Went around the world, etc. I've had people on the podcast who've been in the same company for 20, 30, 40 years. I had a guy on the podcast last week or 2 weeks ago, Robert Baker, 42 years in the same company. Same, never a dull moment. You have to be deciding that. Forget what people say. Okay? If you're bored, however, and if you think you're stagnant and you're not growing, then it's time to think about. Then it's time to think about what to do. I'm an engineer with 12 years experience. I need your suggestions about my career. Hi, Dinesh. The more specific the question, the better. Let me see if you have followed up somewhere. Should I mention my whole experience on my CV if I'm switching from services to sales? I think it depends. There's a lot of people who, particularly in the US, they say if you have more than 10 or 15 years work experience, don't go longer than that because some people might think you're too old or whatever. I don't always agree. If you're targeting very senior roles, and by the way, look at advice very carefully. There's people who are recruiters and they don't agree with each other. There's people who are career coaches who don't agree with each other. So go with what you think is right. I think that if you're targeting senior roles, then you do want to mention your experience, all of it. But you don't have to go into detail in your first job, second job, particularly if it was 20, 25 years ago. You can just mention them sort of briefly. But you also want to show if you're switching companies and you're switching industries, so it's a career change, you do want to like function. You do want to talk about like the messaging matters. That reminds me, I have a YouTube video coming out tomorrow on all things career change. It is my most requested video. So I'm excited for this to be coming out. If you're a member on my channel, you'll see it tomorrow. If you're not a member, you'll see it in a week. Boohoo. So hopefully that helps you. Dinesh, thank you for being here. Hi, Urvashi. How do you deal with Gen Z colleagues that don't wish to work in teams? The fact that you've mentioned Gen Z colleagues, it tells me a little bit about your thinking as well, Urvashi. And I'm not saying that I'm not shaming you or anything. I think this is super interesting. It could be generational. It could be. I've seen people who didn't want to work in teams who were in their 50s, in their 40s or 50s. It's not necessarily because of age. But here, I think that the conversation, uncomfortable conversation, need to have it. Need to sit down and not necessarily start with you don't want to do this. You don't make it about you, make it about I, make it about us. We work here in a team culture. What we have noticed is that there is less tendency for teamwork when we see your performance. How do you feel about this? I would approach it, it's delicate, giving someone this type of feedback. All right. Hi, Isabel. Do you know a professional coach that could help me improve my resume? Mm, so many. Where are you? If you have a specific location, I can tell you. Otherwise, me. I have a digital course and I can also audit your resume. Let me know if you want to know more. You can send me the details. All right. Christine, thank you for asking. So just I think if you put my name on Instagram, otherwise just supercharge_yourself. I mentioned it as well in the previous post. If you check my previous LinkedIn post, if you just in case you don't find the Instagram account, my previous LinkedIn post was it had even the link to the live stream, so you should have that. Dheeraj, according to what I've heard, management prefers that employees remain firm in the firm for a considerable amount of time. When an employee with an experience transfers, why did you stay for such a long time? Yeah, I know. Just, of course, you will have opinions on whether you stay. You'll have opinions on whether you leave. You will have opinions. In Hindi, we say, right? Because I have probably a majority Indian audience, I'll say this. In Hindi, we say, लोगों का काम है क्या? लोगों का, what is it? लोगों का काम है. Oh my god, I can't believe I just completely did not crush this. लोगों का काम है बात करना तो वो बात करेंगे. उनका काम है कहना. But essentially, what this is such a poor translation. People's job is to gossip. So what are they going to do? They're going to gossip. If you know the correct phrase, the correct muhavra in Hindi, not muhavra, the phrase, please put it down. Because that was appalling. That was so embarrassing. What are you doing, Sonal? Wake up. Ashley Montenegro, how are you? What's considered overstaying? Between working in the same company for more than 50 years, I feel like I'm already overstaying. If you feel like it, Ashley, that you're already overstaying, then you are. Check out a post of mine, Ashley, on LinkedIn. I think I did it about 2 weeks ago. And there were in that post, I talk about 6 signs that it might be time to move out. Watch it. Let me know what you think. I think you'll have your answer when you finish. It's a 4-minute video, and you'll know very clearly because I've had people reach out to me. It was a very old video from 2019 that I reposted because I knew that the value is still there and nothing's changed between 2019 and 2023. And when you watch it, you're like, check, check, check. That's me. So even if you have one of those 6 signs, it's something that you need to contemplate. Nice boss. Yeah, it's more than that. Nice boss can never be a substitute for your ambition. How do you stay motivated every Friday? Such a good question, Sajid. Because I'm not always motivated about everything, because who is? The answer is actually deeper than it seems. And I have my clients look at this as well. It comes down to your motivation source and your tendencies. So there's an author called Gretchen Rubin who has a quiz. If you just Google her name, Gretchen Rubin, Rubin, and Google something called the tendencies quiz. I think it's called the 5 tendencies. The tendency I have is an obliger, which means if I say something out loud in front of people, the chances of me following through are higher. Versus if I say I'm going to do something like a yoga or a Pilates in the morning and nobody else is watching and I'm doing it solo, the chances of me breaking the promise to myself are higher. So I announced this in January 2020 that I was going to be live every Friday. And I have done it because I feel like I somebody might be waiting, even if it's one person. So it's interesting to know what your tendencies are. What's happening, Swapnil? I recently completed 6 months in the new company. Congratulations. There's been low volume of work. My colleagues have longer tenure and they are more occupied. Yeah, you should definitely talk about it. Don't stay bored. It'll not portray a negative impact. No, for sure. You say, I'd love to help. Um, you don't have to say you're bored. It depends on how you say it. But you can say, I'd love to be more busy and I'd love to see how I can help you. Amaya, what's happening? What approach should one take when they realize there's a lot of politics, favoritism, and your abilities are being doubted? I know time will move on, time to move, but I still want to understand your perspective. I think that it's important to see where the source is. Like, where is it coming from? Is it sometimes like one person who's a bad apple, or is it deeper than that? Because when it's embedded in the DNA, that type of politics, very hard to change companies. I'm sorry, it's very hard to change the culture. It's easier to change companies. Do you know what I mean? I've worked in companies where it was so deeply embedded that, you know, the writing was on the wall. Ah, Arti, I understand this. I understand it. You're human. You cannot be enthusiastic all the time. You cannot be enthusiastic all the time. Um, can I give you a very quick answer in the interest of time? Get an accountability buddy. Work with someone so you cheer each other up when you're having a low day and he or she is managing to pull through. They're swimming and you feel like I can't swim anymore. Look out for each other. That is one of the reasons why working with a coach is helpful. But coaching is not for everyone. It may not be an investment that's accessible to everyone. This would be the next best thing, I would say. So see if you can find someone who's going through something similar and is ambitious like you and who wants to make changes. I joined a company recently. They told me they won't be extending the contract after November. I've been looking for jobs. Whenever they ask for a reason, uh, you can say, yeah, this was a temporary contract. It was an interim. You can say that. You don't have to get into details. The devil is in the details. You don't have to get very specific. Say, oh, they will not be like, oh, why are they not doing it? This was a temporary assignment. And since the end date is approaching, I'm looking for so and so. Focus on what you're looking for as opposed to the past. Work full time in IT and I co founded my own brand. I'm able to balance things. Both are, I'm able, I'm guessing I'm not able. Both are conflicting and I've taken pre clearances. I feel like my personal venture has supplemented my growth and has made me accountable and proactive. Is it okay to keep both? Of course. It's not a question of is it frowned upon. Just check if it's okay with your company. Some companies frown, some companies don't care. There's lots of companies that don't mind that you have a side hustle. The companies that I worked in were very old school and they said there is no other source of income that should be coming to you, employment, except our job. This is all you do full time, 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week. Did everybody follow? I don't know. But this is what was written in the contract. So check that you're not breaking any of those rules. But it's great that you're doing this. It's great that you're building something on the side and you're doing well. Hey, Akhilesh. I talked about office politics just a couple of minutes before. If you guys are okay with it, feel free to write to me. I also have an article on LinkedIn when I talked about office politics. It's a very, very good article. And I use a bit of humor in it as well. And office politics, it gets into detail. It's in my LinkedIn. It's not easy to find articles on LinkedIn, particularly something I wrote, 2, 3 years ago. Let me know if you want me to send that link to you. Hi, Urvashi. Did I miss your question? I don't think I did. Maybe I was slower, but I do remember your name. So let me know if you find that I have missed your question. Okay, okay. I see that Ayush, you're here and you remember. Oh, amazing. I didn't realize that little check means that you're preferred member. Hmm. Uh, Hopefully I answered it, Urvashi, but I do give preference to the members, but I think I've already answered it. Hi, Isabel. I'm interested in the coaching. Feel free to write to me. Feel free to write to me. A message on LinkedIn. कुछ तो लोग कहेंगे, लोगों का काम है कहना. Thank you. That is what I was looking for. People are gonna say something. It is their job to talk. That's what this means in Hindi. We were talking about it in some context, right? Thank you, Anshuman. Thank you, Ayush. That's it. That's it. You guys are spot on. You guys are like so spot on, and your Hindi is so much better than mine. And look at this dude. This is the OG, written it in beautiful, perfect Hindi. I'm so much respect. So much respect, Umesh. Good for you. Look, oh gosh, you guys don't speak Hindi. You're gonna feel so left out right now. I am so sorry. I never do this in 191 weeks, but I'm having some fun today. It's my show. So me. लोगों का काम है कहना. वो तो कहते रहेंगे. हमसे हमें जैसे है रहना, हम तो वैसे ही रहेंगे. Rajiv, this is even better because what this means is, for those who don't understand Hindi, it's their job to talk, so they will talk. However, the way we are going to stay that way. You kind of lose that spark in translation. It's not the same, but it's very different when it rhymes and it kind of flows so beautifully in Hindi. Thank you, guys. I'm going to read this after the live stream because that's a lot of Hindi to be reading in one live stream. Could you tell me the job title is important for a resume as a fresher? Okay, I just dropped tea on myself. Weber? Job titles don't matter when you're so brand new. Don't care. Don't care. Don't care. Get some experience. Then we'll talk. Okie doke. Okie doke. Last question. Shubham, you had a question. I put it in the my manager appointed a client with a really unrealistic deadline. Oh my God. And my manager expects me to work extra hours for a week. How do I react to this? Work-life balance is getting messed up. You know, I understand, Shubham, but if it's a week, it's a week. You gotta pull, you gotta take one for the team. I would say it's part of the job. Okay. Now, some people will say this is not fair. You should ask for overtime. I don't know. I mean, if the boss is good and you can always say this in the future, saying this was good. When it's over, you can have a chat over a drink if you guys have that culture, or you going out to have a cup of tea. This was really good, but the deadline was really not realistic. What do you think about this? Because it kills you, right? But if it's just for a week, I would do it and finish it and do a really good job. But I do hear you. I've been in roles like this where it was like that, but these are your battle scars. Comes with the job. I hope you're paid really well for it. That's what I'm gonna say. Okay. All right. Have a wonderful weekend as well. Anshuman, what do you think about cover letters? I don't love them. I never read a cover letter in my life. I recruited for so many years, over almost 20 years. I never read. There are recruiters who will completely disagree with me. But I think the smaller the company, they do read those cover letters. Or if you're going through a career change, they want to understand your motivation. But large companies where they have so many volumes of applications, I don't think they're going around reading every single cover letter. But does that mean that you shouldn't do it if they ask you for one? No. If they ask you for one, make one. Make a very simple, short, easy to read cover letter. Why you want the job and what makes you different, what makes you interesting. All right, I'm going to take a last question here and then I shall let you guys go. How do you convince your manager to do your job relocation to another country? Anu, watch my latest YouTube video, which is all about how to get a job abroad. There are 7 ways I talk about it, and one of the ways is this. If you still have questions after that video, come back to me on another Friday. But watch that. It's filled with tips. And one of the things I talk about is the internal route. All right. Thank you for tuning in. If you have just joined me and I'm finishing, I don't mean to be rude. We've been live, what is it, 40 minutes? So we've covered a lot, lots of questions. One thing that I said at the start, and I'm just going to say this again if you've just joined in, is I'd love for you to reach out to me and get in touch with me or put it in the comments about specific problems that you're struggling with. The more specific, the better. And I want to create low cost digital products that help you and give you the results you want in a day or less. So I'm already working on 3, 4 such products, but I want to make sure that it addresses the need. Because what's the point of making it and then I think you would like it, but you end up never using it? What's the point? It has to be something that really adds value and solves a problem for you. All right. So take care and have a lovely Friday and a lovely weekend. I shall see you at the same time next Friday. Bye, everybody.